Week 17 NFL losers. Let's break down some of the biggest losers for Week 17. Let's start off with the Colts. I mean, this is a must-win for you to keep your playoff hopes alive, and you get 45 put on you by Drew Lock. And Malik Neighbors, obviously, is a talented superstar receiver, but this Giants team, they really had nothing to play for in this game. And you have everything to play for in this game, and you lost. Anthony Richardson, I know he's not playing in this game, but Joe Flacco still should probably be able to get the job done against a team that, like I said, this is one of the worst teams in football. They are the worst team in football. You couldn't get anything going. Joe Flacco had 3 turnovers. Should have had 4 turnovers in this game. He played terrible. I don't want to hear any more discourse about Anthony Richardson's not better than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco shouldn't be a quarterback in the NFL, a starting quarterback in the NFL. Statue in the pocket, turns the ball over too much, and the Giants are averaging 14 points per game and haven't won a home game all year, and the Colts still fucked this up and still lost to them. The Colts should be embarrassed by this performance, just all around bad. Defensively, Gus Bradley, you need to go. You need to be fired. Chris Ballard, GM for the Colts, 8 years, really mediocrity. Andrew Luck, I know his retirement kind of wrinkled some things, but 8 years? You haven't done shit since? You've been bringing in terrible quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, all these washed, cooked quarterbacks, and really nothing to show for it in terms of wins. You know, you were in the playoffs with Phillip Rivers, but really not much to show for anything these 8 years. And teams are doing rebuilds, and they're bouncing back in a year. So Chris Ballard, I think he's got to go. You need to fire him. You need to bring somebody else in. You need to rebuild. You need a change. The culture, Pat McAfee speaks on it being so bad. And I agree. There's a lot of things that just don't sound right. This doesn't sound like what a winning organization does. Anthony Richardson, all the stuff that was going on with him just doesn't sound right. That shit shouldn't be allowed, shouldn't be tolerated. It doesn't happen in winning organizations. So Chris Ballard, gotta go. Trade some of these older veterans on this team, guys like DeForest Buckner, guys that are getting older. Trade them away. Let's get some picks, and let's restart this thing. Jonathan Taylor, Pittman, Josh Downs, you got some weapons, some players that are good. Anthony Richardson, get him going in a full season. Hopefully he could stay healthy for a full 17 games. Hopefully he can be more of a professional for a full 17 game slate. I don't know what the future is for Shane Steichen. Should he get fired? Could he get fired? I mean, a loss like this, it's just terrible. Maybe sometimes you just have to flush it all. Sometimes. So Shane Steichen, I wouldn't be mad if he's back in at head coach, but I would also think all things through and evaluate should he be the head coach for us next year. So personally, I think the Green Bay Packers are the biggest frauds in the NFC. They always blow out teams that are ass, but when it comes to playing tough opponents, they can't beat Minnesota. They lost to them twice. They can't beat Detroit. They lost to them twice. They were close games towards the end of the game, but they always start slow against those really dominant teams in the NFC. They lost to the Eagles as well. So against the best of the best in the NFC, they've shown they can't get it done. And against the Vikings, Jordan Love, he struggled against man coverage. Not having Christian Watson, all right, maybe I could see the struggle there, but still, Brian Flores, they dialed up a good scheme, a good game plan to beat the Packers, and the Packers fell right into it. Jordan Love, this is not the same Jordan Love we saw go on a tear last year. He's done pretty decent against, the ass teams, but in big moments, Jordan Love, there's a lot of concern about him. Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, those quarterbacks are outplaying him. Jalen Hurts, they're outplaying him in big games. So Josh Jacobs, really good running back. I really like the run game. Defensively, that defense is getting really banged up. There's a lot of injuries all across the board. Evan Williams is down. Jair Alexander, he's going to be out for the year. So there's concern with that. I don't think they can keep up with any of the NFC teams, regardless of who they play in the first round. Right now they're slated to play the Eagles, how it matches up. And yeah, Jalen Hurts is healthy. Even if he's not, I mean, that run game, Saquon Barkley is going to get going. They're going to handle business. Defensively, the Eagles will handle business with the Packers. So it's not looking good for them. I think, this team has a great future, though. Jordan Love, good head coach. I like what they're building. Just need a couple more pieces, a couple more weapons. Defensively, they'll continue to get better. I like the future for them, but for this year, right now they're a big fraud. They're a pretender. You know, it's hard to win in the NFL, but for the Giants, this was not a good win for them. 45 points on a playoff team, a team that had everything to play for. You beat them in a situation where you had the number 1 overall pick in your hands. All you had to do was lose out. Malik Neighbors, the bright side, he looked like a superstar. He was fantastic in this game. He looked great. Drew Lock, I mean, 4 passing touchdowns, 309 yards passing. He was great in this game as well, but where's Tommy Cutlets? Where's DeVito? You should have had Daniel Jones in the game. We would have lost this game. You would have lost that game if Danny Dimes was in there. So it's just, it's bad that they won this game. Really bad, because now they don't control their own destiny with the number 1 overall pick. Now you have to make a trade with the New England Patriots. If you want Shedeur Sanders, if you want him. I think Shedeur Sanders, the best spot for him is Giants. I mean, with Brian Daboll's had a lot of success with quarterback development. Danny Dimes went to the playoffs with him. Josh Allen, what he's done with Josh Allen. But now you don't control your own destiny. Right now, you have to make a trade with the New England Patriots. You have to give up a haul to get the number 1 overall pick. The Patriots, I mean, for the first round, I seen a hypothetical trade for the Patriots. Pick 1 to the Giants. Patriots get, you know, the 4th overall pick, a 2025 second round pick, a 2026 first round pick, and a 2027 second round pick with Brian Burns. And I think, you know, both sides will probably say yes, it's a decent, you know, trade. You're giving up 2 first-round picks, though, and with the rookie quarterback, your team's not always going to be Jaden Daniels and a 10-5 in the playoffs. Maybe you'll have some success, because I do believe in Brian Daboll. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a good quarterback in the league, but it doesn't always turn around. You don't always become a playoff team instantly. But I think a Shedeur Sanders and Malik Neighbors offense with Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyron Tracy, I think that'd be a good offense, a team that can surprise people. But that schedule is brutal for the Giants. A lot of good football teams on their home schedule. So that first round pick is going to probably be a little high. So giving up the haul to get Shedeur Sanders, it's going to be worth getting Shedeur Sanders. But was this victory beating the Colts worth it? Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.